My name's Connor, and this is my dog Mouse. We are on our second day of the Wonderland hike. We are stopping for lunch in between, what was that camp we stayed at last night? Cataract Valley Camp, and we're on our way up to Granite Creek right now. We're doing about a 10-mile hike today, and right now we're up high enough that there's still snow on the ground and it's pretty cold. One setback I've had is that I realized today that I either lost or left my dog's sleeping bag in the car, so that's been a bummer. But I went ahead and donated her my down jacket, and she seems to be doing just fine with that. I decided to start this channel because I have been working as a travel nurse, and I've been traveling around the US and hiking and working with my dog. Mouse is a service dog, so she's able to go everywhere that I'm able to go, which has just been lovely. I just got off of a 2-week contract in Montana, working for Warner Brothers, doing COVID testing for one of their productions. That was pretty cool. I got back to Washington State just like 3 or 4 days ago, basically just in time to get out here to the Wonderland and start this hike before I have to be back. I'm really glad I was able to get up here. We are going to be hiking this trip over 10 days, so we're averaging about 10 miles a day, and it's been pretty intense so far. The first day we came down over a pass, and it was pretty much downhill all day until the last mile and a half, which was straight uphill until we got to our campsite. At that point it was already dark, so that was a bit of a bummer, but we got to come back down and see the views on our way back down, so that was nice. I'm pretty new at making these videos, so I'm still trying to learn my camera and my gear, but it's been fun so far. I've been taking a lot of pictures. I decided that it would be kind of cool to record my journey, because I've been backpacking since I was maybe 7 or 8 years old, and I've seen a lot of cool places, but I don't necessarily always remember where they are or what they look like. I am hiking by myself. I used to bring friends out here, but most of my friends are beginners, and most of them either can't keep up or find that they really don't want to be backpacking after about the first serious hill. And that's always a bummer, because even though it's hard and exhausting, and I'm sore every day after I wake up when I backpack, the scenery up here is just amazing, and it makes for a good story. So this is our warm-up hike for next summer. We are going to be backpacking the John Muir Trail, hopefully, from Yosemite to Sequoia. I don't know which direction we're going to hike yet, but I've wanted to do that hike for years. After we hike the John Muir Trail, the year after that, my goal is to thru-hike the whole Appalachian Trail with Mouse. That was actually the reason that I decided to get Mouse at the age that I did. She was about maybe 10 or 11 months when I got her. But, you know, I decided to get a dog young and start training her up. I'm service training her myself, which is totally allowed, by the way. And I figure between 3 and 4 is going to be that good balance between her still being young enough to hike that distance and being well trained. So we're hoping to do that in 2023. I'm really looking forward to it. One question that I get a lot when I'm out here with my dog is whether or not dogs are allowed on the Wonderland, and they are not. So just a heads up to anyone watching this who wants to bring their dog out here. If your dog's not a service dog, you can get a big old ticket or actually get kicked off the trail. So just a heads up about that. I have Tourette's syndrome, and so it's kind of difficult for me to carry things. And Mouse carries a big old backpack, and I put all of my gear in there that I might need during the hike so that I don't have to take the bag on and off. My motor tics make that kind of hard, And on top of that, I separated my shoulder drunk wrestling at Burning Man Festival in 2011, and that still hurts now in 2021. So it's really great to have her along, and she's basically my pack dog. We probably have about another 5 miles to go today. It's already 2:20, so we're going to have to haul ass if we're going to get there before it gets dark, but I'm up for it, and my dog does even better out here than I do, so we should be able to make it, hopefully before it gets dark. But I think my food is smelling just about ready, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera off for now, and I will come back and record some more later. So, yep, bye-bye for now. Say goodbye, Mouse. So one thing that happens to me a lot when I'm hiking with my dog is that people see her during our breaks when we're sitting or in camp, and they tell me, damn, your dog looks tired. I'm not so sure if she likes hiking. But my dog's just smart enough to realize that we're gonna be walking for a long time. So she goes ahead and takes a snooze every single time that we stop. Mouse, let's go. Go on. She is a pretty energetic dog on the trail. Mouse, don't pull. Focus. On trail. On trail. Mouse. On trail. On trail. Go ahead. Let's go. You lead. Follow. Let's go. You lead. So today is day 3 of my Wonderland trip. I'm just leaving Granite River. It's about 9:30 in the morning, and I'm hiking to the White River Ranger Station. This is a really pretty campsite, and the elevation gain wasn't as bad as yesterday. There's probably the same amount of elevation gain, but I rolled in today while it was still light out, and that was much better than walking into that last camp super late. So I'm going to be doing a resupply today at White River, and that should be good. Mouse is doing good. She rolled out from under her down jacket last night and used it as a pillow. So I'm adding my fleece jacket tonight to her sleeping stash, because I think she wants something more comfortable to lay on. So she's fine once I threw the fleece over her, so I'm hoping that solves the problem. She's been loving the hike. Last night she was running around and playing right up until the moment we got into camp, and then she just barreled right into camp and fell asleep. So she's having fun, and we're doing good. I think it's about an 8-mile hike today. We did probably 11 miles yesterday, so this should be a much easier stretch of woods, which I'm pumped about. I think we're going to gain and lose about 1,000 feet of elevation, but I'm not positive. So I'm just refilling my water and brushing my teeth and seeing to my feet. I need to put some duct tape and moleskin on there to prevent some blisters. But yeah, it should be good. I'm excited. I hear that we're going to go through a really spectacular part of the park. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I'll record some more video when I get there. The clouds cleared up. It was rainy or misting all of yesterday, but it already looks like it's going to be a beautiful day, and I'm excited about that. So here we go. So today is my 3rd day on the Wonderland. I'm at the White River Campground today. We are about to hike to Indian Bar. Looks like about an 11-mile trip. Trying to get out of here early. It's about 8 in the morning. So let's see. Mouse is doing good with her new sleeping setup. She was able to get a full night's sleep last night. I'd hoped to do a little more shooting yesterday while we hiked from Mystic to here, because the pass that we went over was just amazing. There was an excellent view of Mount Rainier, and that was super fun. But I ended up making some friends on the trail, so I did not do as much recording as I thought I might, because I was chatting instead. I had a really nice surprise yesterday too. It was totally unexpected. I ended up bringing my debit card along on the trail with me just in case I needed to bribe a chipmunk or something. It ended up coming in pretty handy because near the end of the journey, someone mentioned that Sunrise was right ahead, and that's one of the ranger stations. And I was told that they have a snack bar there. So I ended up adding an extra mile and a half to my trip to go and get some ice cream and a cold soda. And that was really awesome because I actually was a meal short. I didn't think to pack one of my meals, or I don't know what happened, but I was short a dinner, and I was planning on just having some powdered eggs that I have along for Mouse. She and I were going to split it, and that was going to be one of our meals. But I didn't end up having to do that because there are mountain house meals there, so that was pretty neat. Are you cold, Mouse? She's a cold dog. But yeah, so that was an awesome little treat, and that ranger center was really busy, and that was the most people I've seen on my whole trip. So that was a fun change of pace, and the Sunrise Visitor Center is just gorgeous. So that was neat. Most of the day was downhill. There was a little bit of uphill between Mystic and the pass, but after that it was pretty much straight down. The descent from Sunrise to White River, I think we lost like 2,000 feet of elevation over 3 miles, so I'm glad I didn't have to hike up that, but since the trail is a circle, that means I'm going to have to regain that elevation later. It looks like today there's going to be about 3,000 feet of elevation gain, and it's going to be a long day, but I made some friends here at the campsite. There's a big group of 12 that is just doing a trip to Indian Bar, and that's where I'm going, so it'll be cool to see them again tonight. Anyway, I think that's all I have for this morning, so I'm going to just keep packing up my camp and eating my food. Oh, I had a resupply today, so my pack's getting heavier, but I have a whole bunch of fresh food, so that's good. And there's a sink here. There's a sink attached to the bathroom on the outside that's for dishes, so I'm gonna go do all my dishes, and I think I'm gonna just suds up my hair and stick my head in on my way out, and then start my trip with clean hair. So that sounds great. I'm just gonna give the camera a quick view of my campsite real quick, and then I'll be off. Well, I just made it up to Summerland, and it is really, really pretty up here. There's an excellent view of Mount Rainier and some of the glaciers. The walk was pretty intense. It was a reasonably calm gradient, but it was let's see, we did 2 miles on the road because of a washout, because of that 115-degree day we had that those couple weeks ago in June, which was really weird for Washington State. But it melted a whole bunch of the glaciers and a lot of the snow, and all the rivers here have just been overflowing. We've had actually several really sketchy bridge crossings because of that. But wow, those waterfalls were pretty incredible, just through the whole park. But let's see, I think our whole hike that we did so far was 6 miles, and the first 2 were on the road. And then we had like a mile or 2 of mild descent, and then it was just 2,000 feet of elevation gain over about 3.5 miles after that. Luckily, a lot of it was in the shade, because it wasn't supposed to break like 60, but I think it's probably like 75 out at least, which is great because I love hiking in the heat, but it's sure nice to have shade when it gets this warm. When you're carrying a big pack. So yeah, we're just chilling here for lunch. We're not camping here. We're about to go over Panhandle Gap, so I have another 1,000 feet of elevation gain to do over the next mile or 2, so that'll be intense. But I just made myself some mashed potatoes, and Mouse is eating her mashed potatoes right now. Say hi, Mouse. But yeah, it's gonna be a beautiful day just in general, and I'm excited to see this next gap. Apparently there's some snow up there, and it might be a little bit sketchy, but I've got some poles and we should be fine. The person I spoke to didn't think it would be anything that would need an ice axe. So yeah, we're just chilling for like an hour, and there's a stream over there, so we were able to refill everything. Hey mouse, eat your food. Yeah, it's actually, I think our whole, between White River and Indian Bar, I think it's like an 11 or 12 mile day, and we've already covered most of the mileage. It's only 4:20, so that's great. We'll be able to take this next part pretty chill, you know, just take it at the rate we want. And then I think it's just a descent down to Indian Bar after that, so should be good. I'm gonna eat my potatoes, and I will try to record a little more footage in a bit. So that right there is definitely the single sketchiest bit of backpacking that I've ever done. There's no trail over there. All there is when you get up to the top up here is you can look down and see where the ice crosses here. And, well, it's kind of a long way down. So I'm glad we made it across that. That was pretty cool. And time to keep going. So Mouse and I are still on our way to Indian Bar. We're over Panhandle Gap. We're up at 7,000 feet, and it's cold. It's very cold, and it's windy. It's probably 45 degrees, and Mouse has her little jacket on, but I just don't want to bother digging. It is just unreal pretty up here, though. It's worth every moment. Sorry, I'm chewing some food. I'm really hoping we're gonna make it out of this pass before it gets dark, because it's sketchy as shit up here. And well, the trail can be hard to find, and we've crossed a lot of snowfields. So I want to get there before it gets really cold, because I was thinking about putting boots on Mouse, but there have just been too many water crossings. They would get completely soaked, and it would defeat the whole point. So I think we have maybe a mile to a mile and a half left, and it's 8 o'clock, and the sun sets here around 9, but we're up high, so that might happen for us a little later. Well, my phone just died while I was recording that, but what I was saying is we should be all right, because it doesn't get fully dark up here until 9:45 or maybe 10, so I think we're good. I'm not worried or anything about our safety. I'm just worried about our comfort. So yeah, I'm gonna give you all a quick view of where I am once I get up to this little ridge here in a second, because man, this is one of the cooler. Mouse, come on girl, don't pull on me, let's go. This is one of the cooler parts of our trip. So Here's the ridge. I don't know if this is still the trail. Looks like it might be. Is that the trail? That is the trail, yes. So let me just turn the camera around and do a pan real quick. I'm gonna switch you over to super view so that you get a good image. So that's where I came from. And this is the view. Good Lord. It is just unreal up here. Just unreal. So here's the rest of the trail. I'm gonna get back to it so we can finish this before dark. But it looks like we're starting the actual descent at this point, and from the point it begins descending, it's only about a mile. So I'm glad to see there's no more uphill, because there keeps being surprise uphill, but there's just no more places to go uphill. So we should be good. Say hi, mouse. Can you sit? Focus. Can you sit? Good girl. That's a very good moose. All right, we'll catch y'all when we get down there. Or maybe if there's something else pretty to show off. Well, I'm sitting here at the shelter at Indian Bar. Made it last night before dark, which was great. The descent was pretty intense. It was probably 2,500 feet over a mile, so my knees hurt at the end, but I'm real glad I have poles. That definitely makes it easier. Easier than the ascent, for sure. So tonight I'm staying at Maple something or other, Maple Creek, something like that. And I think that's down at like 2,500 feet. I'm at 5,000 feet right now, so I think the descent is over like 11 miles or something though, so it should be pretty easy. It's like 10:40 right now. I'm getting a little bit of a late start, but it's for a good reason. Unfortunately, Mouse got a little bit of a pressure injury yesterday from the straps on her harness, so I had to deal with that. I put some gauze pads on there and then stuck some self-adhesive moleskin on there and then covered it in some duct tape with just the edges of it on her fur and her skin, so it shouldn't hurt to take it off or anything. But yeah, so if any of y'all ever take your dog out in the woods, it's really important to check them multiple times a day. I check her paws every time that we stop, and her paws are doing great. They look the same as they do at home, but the straps on her bag were cutting into her armpits. And she lost some hair and has a little bit of a friction burn there. So I treated that and she's doing all better. I took her backpack off her harness and I'm going to be carrying her backpack for the next several days. I just bungeed that onto the outside of my backpack. So she doesn't really carry much weight in there, but I think that it might be sliding around, and that's what's causing the problem. So we're going to try again in a couple days, assuming that her injury heals quickly, and I don't think it's serious or anything. It just needed to be seen to right away to prevent it from getting more serious. So she seems to be feeling fine though, and she's doing good. I think she had a blast yesterday. When we got to camp here, we ended up running into the group of people I met yesterday, and they let me camp here at the shelter with them, which was really nice because that was their group site. It was on their permit. But this is a pretty cool campground. I can see why it's called Indian Bar. I don't know the Indian part, maybe that there's some history there, but the bar part, it's definitely a giant sandbar. But I just wanted to talk a little bit about my day, and let's see, I think we did 11 or 12 miles in 9 hours yesterday, including a lunch break, so I'm not concerned about getting a late start today. Mouse definitely has her trail legs on, and I barely felt the mileage at all yesterday, so I think we should be pretty well set for the rest of this trip. So I'm excited to be able to have her off leash for more of today. I do use an electronic collar with her on the lowest setting. I don't remember whether or not I said that before. I tried it out on myself. It's really just a mild tickle, but it's enough to keep her on the trail, which is important. But yesterday we were just up way too high with way too many cliffs around. So I had her on the leash the whole time, and neither of us like that. So I can't really hold the leash in my hand because I have Tourette syndrome, which is why I'm able to have a service dog. And I have motor tics in my hands, so I tend to drop the leash. So I have that attached to my bag, and then, you know, if she slips and slides, there's always a chance that I'll slip and slide. And it's honestly safer to have her off leash so that if she does take a tumble off of something small, I can go down and help her. But that's obviously not an option up at those high elevations. If she goes over, she's in some serious trouble. So we just do the best that we can, and it was all right yesterday, but I'm definitely psyched to get back to hiking off leash at lower elevations today. So I'm gonna get to it, but if I see any cool scenery, I'll bust out my camera, and otherwise I will record some more when I get to Maple whatever. Well, it definitely turns out I was wrong about this section from Indian Bar being all downhill. I've just got the map right here. We just climbed 1,000 feet, but I do believe it's downhill from here. But yeah, it looks like it should be pretty easy from here on out. I think, let's see, we got 2.8 miles and then 2 miles to Nickel Creek. And then Box Canyon is right near there, and they've got like a picnic area. So maybe they'll have some fresh water there that we don't have to filter. And then it's just another mile to Maple Creek, which is where we're gonna stay tonight. So here's just a quick view now that we're back up at 6,000 feet. While I'm up here and sitting down, I just wanted to share kind of a funny mistake that I had happen last night. At some point on my descent, the safety clip came off of my bear mace. And when I went to unpack my bag last night, it went off on the side of my bag. So luckily, I was outside and it was well ventilated. And super luckily, I always keep it in the side pocket of my bag where the water bottles go so that I can pull it out quickly if I see a mountain lion or something. But, oh man, it got all over the side of my bag. I haven't had a chance to rinse my bag down yet. I'm gonna do that when I get to Maple Creek tonight. But every time that I touch my GoPro, which is what I'm recording on now, I get mace all over my hand. I made the mistake earlier of touching my face, so I basically maced myself. And that's always fun. That's not the first time that's happened to me in my life. Whoops. So now I have to use some of my water every time I record to rinse my hands, or if I touch my face, it catches fire. So that's kind of funny. Whoops. Oh well. It's always an adventure. Well, there is a phenomenal view of Mount Adams on this trail. Yesterday when I was hiking, I kept hearing people say there was a good view of Rainier, but I'm way closer to Rainier than that. So I spoke today to someone who actually knows what they're talking about, and that's definitely Mount Adams. So that's a pretty view. So I found a nice little creek to hang out at. This one's Nickel Creek. In case anyone else is using this video to plan out their Wonderland trip, there is no water available between Indian Bar and Nickel Creek. There were a couple of gross little like snowmelt runoffs, but nothing worth pouring into your filter. So you know, if you're doing this part, just make sure that you stock up. Yeah, so we're gonna chill here and cool off for a minute, and just a heads up to anyone hiking this portion of the trail. Mouse and I made it to Maple Creek before it got dark. with enough time to do all of our laundry. And I'm tired. That descent today was pretty long. Luckily, it wasn't too steep for most of it, but guys, if you hike the Wonderland, you really need poles. If I hadn't had poles when I went over Panhandle Gap on that really sketchy ice snow crossing bit, I think I might have fallen off. Mouse does better on the snow than I do. Her front legs are basically her poles. When I do anything on snow with her, I put her on a leash, and I have a rough wear leash for her that has a handhold right up near where it connects to her collar or to her harness. So when we do that, I clip her in on her harness, and then I just hold really close, and depending on what seems safer, she's either right in front of me or right behind me, and I use my poles to stabilize both of us, and that worked out well. You know, since I was carrying a big heavy bag and she wasn't, I was more concerned for me than for her, but you know, if I'd gone down, I'm pretty sure she would have run and slid down after me. So I'm real glad that I have put so much time into training her over the last bit that I've had her, because that makes a big difference. So I was able to get the bear mace off of my bag, I think, and get all my water filtered, and all my stuff's drying for tomorrow. You guys can't see it, but my stuff is just a yard sale all over this campsite right now. It's not the most scenic campsite I've ever been at. It's just in some old growth. And it's also right off the trail. Like, anyone that walks past is going to walk right past my test. And that's a little bit of a bummer. I like having privacy on my trips. But let's see. The good news is Mouse's boo-boos are already doing way better after being treated. Everything has scabbed over, and I'm thinking she'll be good as new soon. So I think I'm just going to set up my camp for tonight, and I think this is probably the earliest that I've rolled into camp so far. It's not even quite twilight yet, so that's nice. I should say I get a late start when I backpack. I don't know how other people pack so fast. I also eat 3 hot meals a day, so that delays my time getting out, and my bear bag is heavy, so that needs to sort of go at the bottom of my bag, so I can't really fully pack up until I've eaten. I only brought 1 burner on this trip. I should have brought 2, because Mouse's food is all home cooked and needs to be heated up too, so I think I'm going to do that next time. I'm halfway through my trip, and what was today? Day 4 or 5? I think today was day 4. Might have been day 5. I don't know. I'll have to look. It's all a blur. But I'm halfway through. So my next resupply is in Longmire. So that's the day after tomorrow, I think. Yeah. I should probably start organizing all this gear. My backpack, along with all my clothes, got washed, and so it's sopping wet, so I literally just dumped everything out on the ground. I'm gonna get to work now, but I'll see y'all tomorrow. Good night. Good morning, everyone. I just woke up. I'm still at Maple Creek. Today's gonna be a lighter day. We're hiking to Paradise River Camp. I think it's only about 8 miles. I think there's only about 1,500 feet, maybe 2,000 feet of elevation gain. I'm looking forward to today. I hear Paradise is really pretty. It's a lower elevation than where we've been, but there's some cool stuff to be found at low elevation too. Although I have to say, my favorite is alpine. I love being up above the tree line. I love seeing the meadows. I love seeing the view. I love being above the clouds. It's just a cool experience. And I know I said that Panhandle was pretty sketchy, but man, that has been the coolest part of our trip so far. I like the challenge, and that was definitely a challenge. Oh, I should clarify, you know, I mentioned that you really need poles yesterday. There's enough elevation loss here that without my poles, my knees would probably be really swollen. When I descend, I put a lot of my weight on my poles. my leg muscles did not develop normally. On the interior aspect of my knees, the musculature is underdeveloped. So that caused me a lot of pain as a child. And my ankles and my knees and my hips aren't in perfect alignment because of it. So especially for me, descending a hill is hard. But even people that don't have that problem tend to really struggle with descents. So, you know, if you come out here, I really recommend you bring some poles. Panhandle Gap is right on that edge, right now at least, where I would have felt better with an ice axe. So, you know, just be aware. Read up on the trail you're hiking before you hike it. There are some trails that I would never be able to bring the dog on, for example. Any serious deep river crossing would be an immediate disqualifier for us, because Mouse is afraid of swimming. So, you know, just be aware and be safe, and I'll see you after the next bit. Well, today is definitely my most chill day of hiking. I have already covered about 3 miles, and we're just starting to gain elevation. Apparently the next 1,000 feet happen over the next 0.7 miles. So, you know, it just goes up, but at least it's short, right? So, I'm just taking a break and I'm chilling out with Mouse for a minute. So my plan to dress Mouse's wound with an ace bandage failed, but the wound is already healing and it's looking good. So I've just decided to leave it open to the air. I'm going to show you here in a sec, but the ace bandage just slid right down her back, and now it's just chilling around her stomach. So I'm going to take that off when we stop for lunch, because it doesn't seem to be bothering her none. And I've still got my heavy bag on, resting on a rock, so I don't really want to bend over and take it off and deal with it now, since it's not bothering her. But she's taken it like a champ the whole trip. Not the injury, but the trip. She's come a long way. When I first got her, she was afraid of stairs. Now she's clambering over rocks and rock slides, and you know, the training has really made a difference. So she's learned a whole lot, just a whole lot. She's a great dog. And this trip has really been cementing some of those skills, so I'm really pumped about that. But let me go ahead and show you guys the wound that I'm talking about. It's definitely healing, so here we go. That strap was rubbing up against her elbow before, and that injury happened in just several hours. That wasn't something that happened over the course of days. So, you know, if you hike with your dogs, I really just want to stress to check your dogs often, because left to get worse, that could have been a pretty severe injury. Basically, if you get one of these harnesses, guys, what wasn't properly adjusted on her were these front straps, okay? So those can be shortened and lengthened. And it was pulling this strap here too far forward. You can see that it's fitting much further back now. And given that there's a pad right there, I had initially thought that could go into the armpit area no problem, but it can't. So if you guys get one of these harnesses, they're great, the bags are great, but you know, you just want to be really, really careful about how you adjust it. And especially when your dog is new to it, you need to be checking that pretty constantly, just to make sure that they're doing okay. So just be careful and have fun out there with your pets, and I'll check in with you guys again later. Mouse and I have just arrived at Reflection Lakes, and the first one was a no entry zone, but I think this is going to be our lunch stop, so we're going to try and find a way down there and hang out in the shade. Well, I stopped for lunch at Reflection Lake, and it's really pretty there. Lots of people though, bit of a zoo. But that's all right, everyone I met was really awesome actually. While I am hiking, I just wanted to share some of the commands that have been the most useful for me with my dog out in the woods. I'm not going to cover the basics like, you know, sit, stay, whatever. But yeah, so probably the most useful one is the follow command, which other people use as heel, but I don't like the way that sounds. I think that sounds kind of dumb, so I say follow. Another good one is to teach your dog to walk in front of you. So with that one, I use you lead, and when she slows down to sniff, I tell her to go, and that tells her that she needs to start walking. Another great one is focus. No, not you. Go on, good girl. She's probably gonna stop and do her thing as I list these, but that's just, she's a good girl. So that one is particularly useful because it tells your dog to look at your eyes. Other people use look at me, but again, I think that sounds stupid, so I say focus. Another basic but important one is leave it. That's really important in the woods because dogs love to stop and sniff at everything. Speaking of which, Mouse, leave it. Go. I taught my dog the wait command, which is different than stay. For us, stay is to sit down and just not move. Whereas wait is sort of, you can do your own thing, but you should not, you shouldn't move from the spot. So I use that one a lot when we're going over big logs or other things where I have to help her up, but then I also have to help her down, and I don't want her to just jump off and injure herself. Let's see. Another great one is don't pull. I started that one on the leash, and it works great after about a year, but it also generalizes well to off-leash commands. So when I tell her that, she just slows down and waits for me. Let's see, another really great one I taught her was stay on trail. You know, when we walk, a lot of the time she loves to run off the trail. So I taught her what that means. Mouse, focus, leave it. Go on, you lead. Thank you. So that one has come in pretty darn useful for me. What else do we got? Another great command is where's she going? That's what I use whenever she's walking down the wrong trail when she's in front of me or behind me. It just lets her know to look and figure out to go the other way. Another one that we get a lot of use out of is jump. And I taught her that by having her jump up and touch my hand. Sorry, she's having a tinkle right now. But that one is useful because when I want her to get up on something, she does. So let me see. That's all I can think of right now. Those are probably the most useful ones. They generalize pretty well to most situations you run into. Oh, actually, another one that I use, I gotta watch her while I say it, is go have fun, because that tells her she can go do whatever she wants. It's also important to add a release command for these things so that your dog knows when they're done behaving. For us, I use okay. It's also really important to let your dog know when they've done the right thing. So I use good or thank you as a general phrase of gratitude, but I save a high-pitched yes for when she's going to get a treat for behaving, because I want her to stop what she's doing for a moment and collect a treat. Whereas if I say good, she just looks at me, knows she did good, and keeps going. So these are probably the most useful commands in the woods. You can find videos for pretty much all of those except for stay on trail. And if anyone's interested in learning how I trained any of these commands, feel free to leave me a comment. Maybe I'll do a training video or just respond to your comment. So hopefully that's useful. There's a whole bunch of other good commands too. Now let's leave that stick. Come on, focus. Focus, let's go. Thank you. My girl's only 2.5, so she knows the commands, but she has a short attention span. So I have to keep on her. But luckily with service dogs, the requirement isn't that the dog's perfect. It's that the owner or the handler be able to successfully get the dog back under control. So once you've got that down, you're good to go. Oh, I made it to I'm at Paradise River Camp last night, and where I'm at still. It's not super scenic. It's literally just a patch of dirt in the woods, and the water source is pretty far away, so that's unfortunate. But you know, I'm just glad that I got a permit. So I think I have about a 9.5 mile hike today, so that's pretty easy. Unfortunately, when I got here last night, there were no campsites available, which is not cool since the place is permitted. So one of the groups that was here was obviously here without a permit. Luckily, I met a couple of cool dudes. They were 19-year-olds hiking the whole Wonderland in 7 days, which is pretty impressive if you ask me. That's some serious hauling ass. But they were nice enough to let me set up in the other side of the group site because they were in the group site. So I'm going the same direction as them, but they're doing a lot more miles than me. I think they said they were doing 15 today, and that's doable for me, but especially carrying Mouse's food plus her bag that she's still not carrying, that would just be more than I want to do in a day. Good on them for doing that many miles. That's pretty impressive. They're from out of state, so they don't have that much time, so they're just trying to squeeze in as much as they can. And they kind of reinforced for me how lucky I was to get a permit walk up, because they came with 5 or 6 different itineraries and they didn't get any of them. So the ranger ended up just finding them a route that would work. When I walked up 24 hours in advance, and I made sure I was the first person in line at the ranger station. And I think only one of the sites that I wanted wasn't available. I just used the automatic trip planner. I didn't really care where I was, but I did read online that if you show up without an itinerary, the rangers will just give you a map and you'll lose your spot in line, and then you got to go plan your own trip and then propose it to the rangers. So I'm pretty glad that my permit situation was so easy, because it sounds like it's not always like that. I'm looking forward to another day of solo hiking with Pup, and she's just taking a little snoozer real quick. You know, while I pack, she likes to stay warm under that little blanket there. So I'm gonna finish up, and I'm gonna go use the restroom. Nice perk, by the way. All of the Wonderland sites that I found have like an actual toilet. I haven't had to dig a single cat hole the whole time I've been out here, and that's lovely. So you know, unless you think you're gonna go on the trail, you might be able to just not bring a trowel on this trip, which is convenient because those things are heavy. So I'll see you guys in a little while, and we're gonna go kill it. Well, I made it to Longmire, and I just had a pleasant surprise. They have burgers here, so I went ahead and ordered one and a Pepsi. And my resupply's right over there, and I'll show you all what's in it in a little bit after I eat. Alrighty, so here's my resupply stash, and they make you keep it in a garden bucket so that they can store it. And here at Longmire, they're right over there near the entrance, there is a permit center, and that is where they store your fuel resupply and all of your food. So this is a 4-day supply here, and I picked up 2 new fuel canisters and a whole bunch of MSR meals and the same old breakfast and lunches that we've been eating all week. So I'm restocked and I'm ready to go, and I'm gonna get back on the trail as soon as Mouse is done eating. And the burger was delicious, and time to dump my trash, and I'm probably gonna go wash my hair in the sink in the bathroom, and then we'll be off. So I'll see y'all in a little while. So Mouse and I made it to Devil's Dream probably around 7 o'clock, and there was a lot of incline towards the end. The last maybe 3 miles were just uphill, but we made it, and we made pretty good time. We would be resupplying right before a straight uphill portion, but Mouse's poor head just looks like, it almost looks like she has hives, which she doesn't. She just has so many bug bites on her forehead. So I can't really pet her there. She was wearing her harness though, and at the very end, after the resupply, I did decide to trial her again with the backpack to help cover her from bugs. You know, the boo-boo she's got it's healing well, and I was able to watch the straps all day, and those straps are nowhere near rubbing up on that area, even with the backpack on. So, so that helped keep her torso free of bugs. And she's got a few bites on her rump, but luckily she's got none on her paws, so that's good. And her little service dog flag helped protect her neck as well. So far as the site goes, there's not much of a view. Oh, found a mosquito inside. Hold on. I am not getting any more bites tonight. I'm not sure if I maybe made a mistake somewhere along the way, or if the rangers overbooked these sites, or what. Maybe I missed an open site, but there were no open sites here either. So I'm posted up at the group site, and I'm hoping a big group doesn't come through. The only other people that I know of anyway that might be coming up here, I actually met at Longmire, and it's just 2 gals, and so there's more than enough space here to share. I hope there's no other groups coming, because there's just no space. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna hide in my tent with my dog, and I'm gonna put on an audiobook, and I'm just gonna chill because it's a couple hours before dark. Snuggle with dog, make sure she stays nice and warm. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to cooking, and I will catch y'all later. So I'm on my way up to Klapatche with Mouse. She's doing great. Say hi, Moose. Bork, bork. We descended for a while, and now we're going back up. I understand this whole hike is just a series of ridges and valleys. So even though Klapatche is going to be at the same elevation as Devil's Dream, roughly, there's a lot of change in elevation getting there. So yeah, it's been a fun hike so far. I think we'll be coming up on around 80 miles on our hike today. One thing that's neat at this point is we are passing people that we passed going the other direction at the beginning of the hike. So I don't remember most of them, but they all remember me because of Mouse. So people keep pointing out to me where they saw me, and then I remember them, and that's kind of fun. So someone that's already done Panhandle told me that today, in the direction I was going, was their favorite part of the hike so far. So they've seen the same section that I thought was my favorite so far, Panhandle. And that makes me look forward to today. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn the camera off for a bit, and I'll turn it back on if I see anything cool. But just wanted to let you all know that this hike has quite a bit of change in elevation. So plan for that and enjoy. See you in a while. All right, girl, let's do this shit. a good moose. Today's day 9. I'm gonna keep this video short because I am just being swarmed by mosquitoes. And Mouse is behind me under my windbreaker to help keep the mosquitoes off of her. This site's really awesome. I'm at Klapatche Park. There's a great view, and I managed to get some good footage of the sunset last night. I'm gonna try and get that into my blog post. We are going to Golden Lakes tonight, which I think is just like an 8 or 9 mile hike. So it should be pretty easy. I don't know about the elevation gain or loss yet, but it'll be our last night in the woods. So I'm gonna get the hell out of here before I get eaten alive. It's not as bad here as at Devil's Dream, and most of them seem to have gone away last night right when we arrived. Someone else said they were pretty bad during the day, and I can see that that is true. So I'll see you guys on the trail or at Golden Lakes.
Hi.
Hi there. Follow Mouse. So it's my last night out here on the Wonderland Trail, and I am at Golden Lakes. And it's quite pretty here. There's a neat little patrol cabin, and I just met the ranger, and she's very nice. The ranger just told me that she hiked the Appalachian Trail before when I mentioned that this is one of our warm-up hikes for that. And she said she thinks that if Mouse can handle the Wonderland, that it shouldn't be any problem on the Appalachian Trail. So I'm glad to get that feedback from someone who seems to know what they're talking about. Yeah, it's just a bummer to be going back to real life after this. I start my new job working at a skilled nursing facility right near the North Cascade National Park on the 2nd of August, and today is the 23rd. So I've still got a little ways to go, a couple more weeks of derping around, but that's probably going to be spent getting ready for work. So this was a great way to sort of finish out my free time in the summer. So yeah, I'm going to show you guys the view here real quick, and I'm going to save the rest of my battery for anything I run across tomorrow. Let's see. So today's the day that we cross South Mowich, and I've been getting warned about South Mowich the entire trip. I understand the bridge is out there, so Mouse and I are gonna need to do a water crossing. So I'll probably tie her up nearby and then ferry all of our gear across and then take her across as well. So we'll figure it out. Apparently it's only about knee deep if you go upstream a little bit, but that would be at about eye level for Mouse. So we're gonna have to figure that out between the two of us, but we'll make it work. So I'll see you guys at South Mowich. So Mouse got too hot while we were eating lunch, and she just went and plopped down straight in the glacier run. What a cool customer. Well, Mouse and I just crossed South Mowich, and it's pretty intense. It's not not doable or anything, but my dog is short and she doesn't like water much, so that was pretty intense for her. I'm really proud of her though. She totally made it. Here she is, just chilling and drying off. I'm going to show you guys a little peek of the river here. There's a few fingers to cross, and then the main stretch of river is right in the middle, and that is between knee and thigh deep, and there's quite a bit of current. So what I ended up doing is using one of my poles to scout ahead of me for how deep it is. And anywhere that it was to my knees or above and there was a shallow section ahead, I just went ahead and picked Mouse up by the collar or by the harness while she was attached to my leash, which was around my waist, and just flung her to the next section of river that she could stand in without going nose under. So I definitely crossed the river first to scout a good location and brought all of our stuff across. And then I went ahead and scouted back because the first place that I found was not so great to cross. But the route that I took back worked pretty well. And the deepest it ever got was one step that was up to my inner thigh. So not too bad, but here we go. So, you know, nothing too sketchy, not like crossing a major river that we both could have drowned in, but we both could have come out pretty thoroughly soaked and miserable. So, I'm already drying off. Mouse is already drying off. Her harness is already drying off. And we're just gonna sit here in the sun. I'm actually really glad that we got to do a fording because I like river crossings. The water is pretty cold though, because it's a glacier run. But this is something we needed to practice together for when we go hike the Appalachian Trail together. So I definitely think that in the future for things like this, I'll use an emergency sling. I thought that I had packed one, but it turns out I didn't, which is why we did it this way. But in the future, for anything that's like above my knees, I'll just put on a sling. They're made for dogs. You can get them online. They're about $150 and they're fantastic. Because you can just throw your dog over your shoulder or your back with their little legs sticking out the bottom of the sling, cross whatever you need to cross, and then put them right back down and you'll be the only one wet. So, yeah, I don't know what happened to mine. I might need to get a new one. So, anyway, should be fun. I just enjoyed that. I have about a 3-mile ascent up to Mowich, and then my trip is over. So, I don't remember how much I told you guys about my living situation. Whoa, I'm just standing on a sketchy rock right now. But my travel trailer's in for repairs, and that's where Mouse and I live with my 2 kitties. And the kitties are with my parents right now. But it is Saturday, and they won't be open till Monday. So I'm gonna be getting up early and out of the park early enough that I might be able to call some friends and see if I can crash with them. But otherwise, I'm just gonna go dispersed camp somewhere for tonight and then see if I can't get myself a spot in a state park. There's one in Federal Way that usually has an opening or two, and they have a shower house. So even if they don't have an opening, I might just sneak in and go pay their shower house, because you pay for showers there. Take a shower so that I can go eat somewhere without disgusting everyone for a mile. And then go pick up my rig on Monday. So we have about 2,500 feet of elevation to gain over the next, I think it's 3 to 3.5 miles. So that'll be one of the more intense elevation gains that we've done. And then we'll be at Mowich. So then I can hop in my car and charge up my gear and get the hell off the mountain. Because I am just dying for some teriyaki or some Taco Bell. So that's the plan for this evening. Catch you guys at the end of the trail. All right, well, Mouse and I made it down off Mount Rainier. We are staying in a hotel in Mount Vernon right now. I decided that would probably be a better option than camping somewhere because I really wanted to shower. So we made it down, and it was a great ride down. The drive to and from Mowich is a lot better if you have 4-wheel drive and off-road tires. So we had a blast with that. That's a really pretty long, fun drive on gravel. So Mouse seems to be doing great. We went to the dog park this morning and she was having a blast with that, but now she's just over here on the couch having a snoozer. She seems pretty pumped about that. So let's see. As far as future videos, I'd really like to get up into the Cascades a couple more times this summer, so I'm going to try and get some video of our trips up there if we do that. I'm also going to be doing some videos in my travel trailer. I didn't have any of the gear for it or really the time when I bought the travel trailer, but I've done a lot of modifications to that I'd love to share, ranging from adding a washer, dishwasher, and dryer to just tearing out a bunch of the furniture and putting in a desk and some other good stuff like that. So I'm going to try and do some of that, and I think I'm also going to probably do a couple food preserving videos. One recipe that I do that people really like is home canned pho, Vietnamese soup. So I'm probably going to try and get that recorded at some point and get that uploaded as well. If anyone has any questions about the trail or about bringing a dog on the trail or about how I train my dog for the trail, please feel free to leave a comment and I'll do my best to get back to you. I'm really glad that I got to bring my camera gear along. I think it was a great investment. I was just camping with a phone last year and I got some good pictures, but I haven't had a chance to look at any of my pictures or video yet, but my guess is that everything that I took this year was way better than anything I took last year. If anyone has any questions about any of my other gear or anything else that I talked about or anything I didn't talk about, just feel free to leave me a comment and I'll do what I can. I would hike that trail again in an instant. Not this instant, I'm tired. But it would be cool to take the Spray Park or the Northern Loop detour and maybe hike counterclockwise next time. And I just stayed on the actual Wonderland Trail this time, but there are some cool detours to consider. So I think that's all I got for now. So thanks for watching. It was a great experience, and I'm going to try to bring you guys some more cool videos soon. Catch you later.